they've scored. It's Grant who's got the goal from the free kick, and we're heading for extra time now, surely.
Domingo! It is 2-0, and that now surely seals the K-League title for Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors.
You're listening to the K-League United podcast, proud partner of Football Nation Radio.
Hello, I'm Annyeonghaseyo. Ryan Walters coming to you from the K-League United Outpost, as we're calling it, here in Bangkok. It's nighttime here, and so my lighting isn't as good as it is during the day. You'll have to forgive me for this one. But Matthew, commiserations, welcome.
Yeah, it's also late in the evening here, and it's a miserable evening for myself personally.
For you personally, because in case you're just joining us, and this is where you get your news first, thanks for that, first and foremost. Secondly, if you're just joining us somehow and you've been living under a rock, the Urawa Red Diamonds are on the way to their fourth AFC Champions League final after seeing off a very spirited Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors in penalties. And Matthew, again, on the wrong side of this, and we'll do the whole breakdown. We'll talk about the game in detail. But first and foremost, what a match we got here.
Yeah, I don't know there was a lot of talk about whether Jeonbuk could actually stand up to Urawa. I think most people predicted Urawa to go through, and obviously their predictions have come true. But I'm sure even those people who predicted, and that's nothing against, I said to myself, going with my head, Urawa should win it, and but instead we got this fantastic match. An early goal for Urawa, it set the tone nicely. We've talked about Jeonbuk before coming out when they get early goals, and suddenly had this early goal, and suddenly there was a game on, and Barrow came on the pitch early, and it was getting end to end. I think Urawa had the better chances, but Jeonbuk were trying and they're pushing, and then we got the penalty and went into extra time, making it 4 games for the price of 3 in the Jeonbuk. A third extra time in a row, a third extra time in 7 days, a third extra time going in 1-1. And we thought they'd done it again. Hankyo won in the 115th minute. Looked to have snatched it, but it wasn't to be. 119th minute. Yeah, Kasper Juncker, her name I won't forget for a while. Level things. Just honestly, it was a fantastic match. I wish there'd been more Jeonbuk. I wish there'd be more Jeonbuk fans there, because credit to Urawa, they put on a good show in the stands. They all came out in force, and I can't complain too much because Jeonbuk had the bubble advantage last year. But wow, that was impressive stuff from the supporters of Urawa. That sea of flags, when you just look at like Kimbo Kyung walking up to take that first penalty, and if you're aware of Jeonbuk's penalty record, you're looking at it and going, just may as well turn this off now.
Which this is something that you've already put out there on the Twitters, that Jeonbuk lost this one on penalties, making last year's success against BG the only time that they have won in their last 10 attempts across all competitions. 10 attempts across all competitions, including against the mighty Yeongju Citizen. So in the FA Cup, for those that weren't following, which obviously they were last year. This is not something that Jeonbuk, for all of their dominance, they do not do well in pens. And so, like you said, I think for you, when that Juncker equalizer went in, that was probably it.
Yeah, it really was. I made an absolute prat of myself for about 4 minutes.
But you're at home, so it's.
I was. The windows are all open. I was making sounds in that match that I didn't think were humanly possible, like just yelps, and it was there was chances galore for for just everyone. Well, yeah, at the end, Min Son Min as well. Just even after Hanko one scored, Min Son Min broke away. And like, pass it to Barrow. Barrow's there on his left, and Min Son Min, he wants the last dance, doesn't he? Always. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, what have you done? And it was him who led to the equaliser as well. And I think deploying him in extra time was a great idea, was a smart move from Kim Sang-shik, because he did wonders against Vissel. And, you know, he's going to obviously rue those mistakes. He knows himself. But, yeah, it was he got dispossessed in central midfield, and
Would you have brought him on sooner, though? Because coming into the match, he had scored 3 goals, and 2 of them were in the last minute of play. I mean, this is a guy that was doing a job, to say the very least.
Yeah, I thought that myself. I was trying to think who would I replace, though. That was my problem. Because I thought Barrow was playing well. Gustavo got a head injury. I'm not even sure Gustavo should have been on the pitch, personally. I think probably should have been taken off. I don't think concussion is clearly maybe not as being taken as seriously as it should have been. I don't know. I mean, we have to go by what the medical staff say, and if the medical staff say he's okay to play, and if the player says he's okay to play, then I guess we have to accept that. But I really, he didn't look himself for that first half. He was complaining all the time. It would have ruined the game plan for Jeonbuk taking Gustavo off, but it wouldn't have been the end of things. They could have moved Song Min Kyu into the middle, and then they could have put Moon Son Min out earlier, and they could have had Moon Son Min and Barrow on the wings and Song Min Kyu up front. But instead, he persisted, and Song Min Kyu had a good game. He couldn't finish for Toffee. He was he gave those. He belted a few balls towards those flags, but
sure did.
He played well, I thought. Other than that, Song Min Kyu, and I thought they all played well. Even Min Son Min, who obviously led to the gut punch and equaliser. There was not a player on that pitch that I hadn't worked themselves into the ground. I thought Park Jin-suk was really good at centre back. I thought Koo Ja-rong had a good game. I've usually complained a lot about Koo Ja-rong. I was really impressed with him. Kim Jin-soo, a captain again. He wasn't the captain at the start of the season. In fact, Paek Sung-ho is the vice captain. Kim Sang-shik's bypassed the vice captain and giving Kim Jin-soo the armband, and it's been it's worked really well. He is a player that he leaves it all on the pitch, and I thought the defense played well. Kim Min-hwan, he had a great game. Ironically,
he had that great run in extra time as well. I thought there was something was going to come of that. Yeah,
and then you look across the midfield, and it's hard to fault any of them. And then you look at Lee Bum-soo. I've not even mentioned him. My word,
what a game!
My word, how is Song Bum-kun going to get back in the goal after that game? Like, I can't even find a justification. I love Song Bum-kun, but my word, Lee Bum-soo, wow. What that save in the 95th minute, the double save.
Yes.
I was making sounds that I didn't think were humanly possible. I didn't know how I was going to get through extra time after watching that. Kasper Juncker hit the post. I don't know whether the keeper got a touch on it actually to push it onto the post, but he certainly got a touch on the rebound, which looked destined to go in, and facing goal managed to get an outstretched arm and claw it away with seconds left on the clock. Paul mentioned it on Twitter, but it's full Peter Schmeichel from Lee Bum-soo. Phenomenal. Yeah, I can't fault any of them. It's really like, I think the only thing I would say, ironically, I think Kim Sang-shik, he had the right tactic for a team that's not playing well. I don't think Jeonbuk should have been this bad anyway going into this tournament. I think Jeonbuk should have been, given the talent they've got, they should be a dominating force. They're not. But with that in mind, given the state of Jeonbuk at the moment, Kim Sang-shik played the right tactics all for these 3 games. Stifle and then bring on the talent. But funnily enough, I think it was the experience that led to the penalty misses, because all of them have been there before. All of them have missed penalties. It would have actually been great to have. Would have been great to have that starting lineup. It's quite interesting that the only person who doesn't miss a penalty is Park Jin-suk, who's only arrived this year.
That's an interesting one. I think history also kind of playing into things a little bit for Jeonbuk in this tournament as well, because they are tied in the East for the most semifinal appearances with Urawa. This was their 5th time going there. And an interesting stat for this one is that they have progressed to the next stage only 2 of 5 times, 2 of 6 times now, when facing Japanese opposition in the knockout rounds. So that one's going to sting a little bit for Jeonbuk fans. But I think, like you said, tactically they approached this one quite well. That early goal, I mean, this is kind of what we've been talking about in the buildup and everything. Urawa have that talent, and what I was noticing in the first half, even after the goal, is that Jeonbuk was just doing such a good job of shutting down the space that Urawa had against everybody else. And look, full credit to Urawa. They're just a very talented team. They move the ball extremely well, and that first goal was just some really great movement all around.
Yeah, caught Jeonbuk off guard completely. That.
Yeah, and again, that's going to happen when you've got that much talent out there, and then yeah. So it's all gone down the way it's gone down.
No. I mean, it's also just funny that Paul mentions Football Manager there in the comments. I know he's joking about me. Supposedly I should send the assistant to do this, but watching Kim Sang-sik these last 3 games, it feels like playing Football Manager when your team's in a competition they're clearly not good enough to be in, and you're just like chucking everybody back and like close the space and hold on for dear life. And that's how I felt. I mean, that probably says a lot about Kim Sang-sik, that I've compared his best managerial tenure to a computer game. But
that's a very good sign.
I don't know. Like like I said, Jeonbuk shouldn't be this bad this season. They've been ordinary at times, but these 3 games, they knew their limitations going into these 3 games. It wasn't like they didn't come in going, we're Jeonbuk. They came in going, we are not good at this moment in time, and they just clearly went, this is how we're going to do it, and it worked.
Okay, so I'll try to look for some of the silver linings on a cloud that doesn't move for anybody that's watched movies recently. Anyway, go see Nope. If you haven't seen Nope, go see Nope.
I have seen Nope. It was very good.
It was quite good. And speaking of things that are good and silver lining on those clouds that don't move, Matthew, do you think that this is something? I mean, overall, I think this is you can't say that losing is a positive, but this was a really gutty performance from Jeonbuk. Yeah. I expected, when it went to extra time, I thought for sure Urawa's going to score here. They've got the momentum. Jeonbuk are going to get too tired at some point. And to take it all the way to pens, what an amazing extra half hour of football again from them this time around, on tired legs, facing so many different injuries. It was a really gutsy, really gritty performance, and I tip my cap to them. And I guess my question to you is, do you think that they can now carry this into the league? Do you think that going to the semifinal and going all the way to pens, and look, if we're in a normal situation in ACL, like we will be again next year, like we were in 2019, these times are coming back, Jeonbuk would have been able to come home and have a home leg version of this, or would have already had a home leg version of this. So, I do think that there are a lot of positive takeaways for Jeonbuk, but that's more of a neutral stance. How are you feeling about it?
I mean, I feel a couple of things. One thing, just to bring all this ACL coverage back round the whole week, one of the things we mentioned was, have Jeonbuk underperformed historically? And we compared it to Ulsan, and it caused a bit of debate online. And I could see the argument for both. I do think Jeonbuk spend a lot of money, but I think here's the difference this evening compared to Ulsan. Ulsan go out of the competition, everybody criticizes them. Jeonbuk go out. You look at 2018. Okay, you can look at the last 3 years. There have been Jeonbuk's not been very good, but you look at 2018 when they went out in the quarterfinals, and they got applauded for that. The way they fought back from 3-0 down to lose on penalties to Suwon, but the fight back was lauded. It was like, well, fair enough. They actually can fight. They don't go down easily. And you look at it again, these 3 games, they go to the J-League stomping ground. They go into this cauldron, this atmosphere where against a team that's just thrashed other sides, they haven't conceded a goal in the knockouts, and they just stifle them in their own backyard. They absolutely, and they just really dig in, and we come out of it. They come out of it a losing team, but you come out of it and you can't fault them. And I don't know, you know, you look at Ulsan going out to Pohang and everybody's like, they've done it again. Ulsan have done it again, you know, they've fallen out. But I mean, it's not, I guess I'm making it a competition about Ulsan and Jeonbuk, who's underperformed.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, and the real competition is in the league, which is where we should be talking about. And Ulsan have won that. But yeah, I don't think this, I think this.
Not yet, they haven't.
I think Jeonbuk are going to lose to Pohang when they get back because they are going to be shattered. And I think the points difference is going to be far too much for them to catch up. What they need now, Kim Sang-sik is going to keep his job. If he's going to keep his job, he needs to have a respectable end to the season. And I think he's got to try his best to keep up with Ulsan, but he's going to have to go for the FA Cup as well. Just, you know, there's no excuses there. I don't know where his future lies at the club. He certainly added to his value with this, undoubtedly. But like I said, you've got to take a step back and go, why are Jeonbuk not matching the amount, not performing to the talent that they have? I hope it can propel them. I hope they return to a hero. I assume they'll return to a hero's welcome on Monday, because you'd have to be a brave man to put a Kim Sang-sik out banner after that performance, really. He's bought some patience with myself, and I'm thinking, you know, let's see this where the season ends. I don't know. At this moment, I'm not even bothered about the league, which sounds ridiculous, but I'm just like, that was just fantastic. I'm just really genuinely, I'm gutted, but I'm also just like, finally, this season has been, from a Jeonbuk, in relative Jeonbuk terms, has been pretty abysmal from them at times. It's been punishing to watch. They just pointless possession, just really dull football, and they look really ordinary this time. And just to see them show that they've still got this fight, and show that, you know, we are the champions of Korea and we can beat J-League clubs, as we've proven all through our thing. They beat Yokohama as well this season. Let's not forget that. They nearly took 3 J-League scalps in this. I've got nothing but respect for them, and I'll probably have to think about the rest of the question after a couple of weeks of
sure.
Yeah, after a couple of weeks of losing games, I'll be back to normal.
Well, it was almost 3 ACL finals in a row with a K-League team representing the East. So we came so very close, but it will not be this time. When Ulsan, Pohang, and wouldn't it have been great to have 3 different teams in 3 different finals? But I think in the end, Urawa had some advantages going for them being at home, obviously. But I also think it would be very naive and wrong to argue that they weren't a quality team. I don't know if I would say the better team tonight, because I thought that was a very even game. I think they could have kept playing and it would have stayed even.
I think whoever went through, sitting on the fence, maybe lose a talk to a certain degree, but I honestly think either team who won that were worthy of getting to the final.
Sure.
And,
100%.
I mean, all credit to them. They were a really, really good side, and deserved finalists. And it's going to be an interesting final when that happens.
I was going to say, we'll find out in 5 months' time, right? September, October, November, December, January, February. Sorry, 6 months' time. So half a year from now, when this competition resumes for Urawa, we will find out. Honestly, I think what it's going to be, and we'll wait until the time comes, which we won't talk about on this podcast because this is a K-League podcast, but I'll talk about it somewhere else, I'm sure. That I think it's going to be Urawa versus Halal Part 3. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be 2 amazing fan bases going at it. So we shall see. I'm already booking my trip to Tokyo in my mind for this one, which I said I wasn't going to do winter anymore, but we'll make that happen. Ugh, it's so cold. I hate it. I don't want the cold anymore. But that's my own thing, which is for a separate podcast, Weather Weekly with John Christian. It's a great listen. It's a great listen. It'll cheer you right up, Matthew. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll have some more spaces on Twitter soon. And always the mailbag is always open. So if you have any questions, comments, or reactions to anything, do please get those in. But for now, I know it's a couple hours later where you are, Matthew, on a school night. So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll pick up this conversation again when K-League teams are back in ACL in a year's time. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Fans, we want to hear from you. You're encouraged to email KLU at info@kleagueunited.com or tweet at K-League United with any questions, comments, or reactions. Or ask directly during one of our live shows.